Hi everybody, this is Jamie back again for another adult story time. Today I'll be reading a poem out of a book called You Don't Have to Say You Love Me by Sherman Alexie. Sherman Alexie is an American Indian novelist and poet. He grew up on a Spokane Indian reservation in Washington, and most of his work explores his experience growing up as an Indigenous American. This particular book goes into his complicated relationship with his mother that he really began to come to terms with after her death. So I'll read chapter 38 from this book, which is a poem called Eulogy. My mother was a dictionary. She was one of the last fluent speakers of our tribal language. She knew dozens of words that nobody else knew. When she died, we buried all of those words with her. My mother was a dictionary. She knew words that had been spoken for thousands of years. She knew words that will never be spoken again. She knew songs that will never be sung again. She knew stories that will never be told again. My mother was a dictionary. My mother was a thesaurus. My mother was an encyclopedia. My mother never taught her children the tribal language. Oh, she taught us how to count to 10. Oh, she taught us how to say, I love you. Oh, she taught us how to say, listen to me. And of course, she taught us how to curse. My mother was a dictionary. She was one of the last 4 speakers of the tribal language. In a few years, the last surviving speakers, all elderly, will also be gone. There are younger Indians who speak a new version of the tribal language, but the last old-time speakers will be gone. My mother was a dictionary, but she never taught me the tribal language, and I never demanded to learn. My mother always said to me, English will be your best weapon. She was right. She was right. She was right. My mother was a dictionary. When she died, her children mourned her in English. My mother knew words that had been spoken for thousands of years. Sometimes, late at night, she would sing one of the old songs. She would lullaby us with ancient songs. We were lullabied by our ancestors. My mother was a dictionary. I own a cassette tape recorded in 1974. On that cassette, my mother speaks the tribal language. She's speaking the tribal language with her mother, Big Mom. And then they sing an ancient song. I haven't listened to that cassette tape in 2 decades. I don't want to risk snapping the tape in some old cassette player. And I don't want to risk letting anybody else transfer that tape to digital. My mother and grandmother's conversation doesn't belong in the cloud. That old song is too sacred for the internet. So, as that cassette tape deteriorates, I know that it will soon be dead. Maybe I will bury it near my mother's grave. Maybe I will bury it at the base of the tombstone she shares with my father. Of course, I'm lying. I would never bury it where someone might find it. Stay away, archaeologists. Be gone, be gone. My mother was a dictionary. She knew words that have been spoken for thousands of years. She knew words that will never be spoken again. I wish I could build tombstones for each of those words. Maybe this poem is a tombstone. My mother was a dictionary. She spoke the old language, but she never taught me how to say those ancient words. She always said to me, English will be your best weapon. She was right. She was right. She was right. If that poem sounded interesting to you, I encourage you to search for that book on Libby or Overdrive, or you could try to find the print copy available at one of the libraries in our system. Another thing I wanted to mention before logging off here today is that we do have the Summer Library Challenge coming up beginning on June 15th. Things will look a little bit different this year because we are doing a virtual format, but it will still be a great opportunity to read, create, and engage with the community and earn prizes along the way. So I'll be back next week with another reading, and until then, bye.